Good afternoon. Sorry, I'm running a little late here. I don't know, I just lost track of time. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. Let me find myself on here, on Facebook that is, and so I can see any of, there I am, any comments you have. Let's see. Welcome. It is Teach It Tuesday with Tammy and Jenny. It is 4 o'clock on Tuesday, January. Oh my goodness. July 15th. Can you believe it? We're halfway through the month. And if I remember correctly from a meme I saw, we are closer to 2050 than we are to 2020 because of where we're at in the year. So that just blows my mind more than anything else. So anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Jenny Fetz, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from East Contra Costa County. I am located out near the Delta, and I am happy that you are here with us. If you're watching live, thank you and welcome. If you are catching a replay on my my YouTube channel, welcome, and I appreciate you joining and watching the inspiration I have for you today. Tammy and I have done a sketch challenge today. She did a fabulous, fun, Halloween themed challenge or card this morning using some of our new online exclusives. And so when you get a chance, hey Peggy, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And so it's just reminding or letting people know that they can check out Tammy's video. There'll be a link on my blog to see her really cute Halloween card that she used using some of our new online exclusives. And she is starting a Summerween, I think it is, theme for the next several videos or lives that she does between this and her Sunday morning live. So anyway, welcome. This is the sketch we're doing. We're doing Mojo Sketch 521, and we are doing this. I have done this one, and I've done a twist on, not a twist on it. I've done it with a masculine. I thought I'd challenge myself because I don't do too many masculine cards, and I was trying to figure out what I could do. And hey, Anne, thank you. Welcome. I'm so glad you've joined Peggy and I. And I was just telling people I'm doing a masculine themed card. I don't do a lot of masculine themed cards, but that's because I just received the Timeless Plaid 6x6 DSP. I participated in a challenge in my group, and if we met the challenge, we received a 6x6 DSP of our choice. And this is one that it was with a I think it was the Storytime Suite. It was the one that sort of reminded you, had the feelings of the Velveteen Rabbit or Peter Rabbit, but I wanted to get this paper, and it screams masculine to me on some levels, so I thought I'd do a masculine card today. Now, I want to share with you, when I do this card, I do not follow the measurements exactly. I played with the measurements, and I'll show you why. I actually bumped up the sizes of each of my items on the sketch, because when I did the smaller one, and here's what my smaller one was. This was the one where I did everything closer to the sizes they had on here. I love the plaids too. You're on your second pack. Oh, wow. I'm glad that they are with us for the rest of this catalog year, and it's not something that can be go out of stock and not return at this point, because I think I'm gonna have fun playing with these. But anyway, this was doing the card with following the exact measurements on the sketch, but I just felt like it was too small and too much empty space. I don't like empty space. So what I did is I did the same thing, but I bumped up these sizes. So I will give you the sizes of these, and I will show you how we made this card. So let's go ahead and get started. I am using Basic Beige as my my card base, and it is an 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. And I'm going to go ahead and burnish this real quickly just to help the fold and help it to flatten out a little bit. And we're going to set that aside real quick. And then the inside, I am using basic gray. And this is, it's hard to see. Let me pull out my paper that I'm gonna have to use in a little bit. Basic gray, and it is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm gonna put another piece of basic beige on top. It's a very basic card today. Basic beige, basic gray. And this is 3 3/4 by 5. And we're gonna put that on here, but let's go ahead and stamp our greeting, our sentiment on the side, and the stamp set. The 2 stamp sets I'm using today are The Right Words, which is a great sentiment stamp set. I love it. And right now I'm finding that this stamp, To Someone Worth Celebrating Every Single Day, has become one of my favorite go-to sentiments. And then I'm using Elements of Text. Now I saw somebody use this a while back and I thought, ooh, I really have got to have it because I love the script. But you can't really read what it says, but it gives us an old time look. And I really liked it, but this is the first time I've actually used it. So we're gonna go ahead and use those 2. So let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. We're gonna do it in basic gray, since we've got basic gray, basic beige, and then some of the other colors are, I think it's pecan pie and, what else is it? Pecan pie and crumb cake. We're going to go ahead and put this right in the middle. All right, I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to need it a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and put, get it going. We're going to attach this to the center. And what I might do actually is I'm going to use this little splotch, and I'm going to use this one here from the Text of Elements. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this in. I'm going to use a little basic gray, and I'm going to just put a little bit of stamped image here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get another piece. I thought I had another piece of this paper. I do, right here. There it is. And I'm going to set it right underneath because I forgot to stamp it earlier. But because I didn't use Tombow and I did use my Stampin' Seal, I can wiggle it around a little bit because I didn't put the adhesive right up to the edge. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do this. And you got to be careful with this one because sometimes on this end, if you push too hard, you get the ink right on the edge. And do I have... I don't have it. I don't have any of my stuff right next to it. So you could use a Q-tip to wipe that off if you want to, but I'm going to stamp off because I don't want it to be too dark. And I think I'm just going to stamp a little bit off the edge. And we're going to lightly stamp it, stamp off. And I'm going to stamp right like that. There we go. That gives us a little bit of, like the little bit that's in there. And we're going to put this inside the card. Let me move my stamp so I don't put my arm in it. We're going to go ahead and use my Stampin' Seal. Come on. This one, here's a tip for you. If you find that it's just not pulling through and not getting, you can either run your finger up like this to move it, or you can run it along a silicone mat, and that will help move the tape, but the silicone mat won't take the adhesive. All right, so because it's silicone and it won't stick. All right, so we're going to put that, and that's the inside of our card. And make sure I've got this in the middle. All right, now we're going to work on the front of our card. Now the front of our card, we're going to do a couple things. Let's do our die cutting first. So we're going to die cut out of this fun plaid. Now this fun plaid, I pulled in the basic gray because it's probably one of our closer colors to Pebbled Path. And this designer series paper came out back when Pebbled Path, one of our former in colors, was a part of our lineup, and so they have it in there. But basic gray is a really good complement to that Pebbled Path. I'm going to go ahead, and this is a written down. This rectangle is from Nested Essentials, and it is about 2 1/8 by 2 3/4, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut this out. And so I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday and a great week so far. I hope you have a lot of fun things planned for this upcoming week. You know, we are getting closer to being able to get our fifth wheel. I don't know if I shared with you, but my husband and I, my husband's really close to retirement. He retires probably the end of this year at this point. And we are going to be traveling, and we bought a fifth wheel a few weeks ago. The problem is we bought the fifth wheel even though our truck was in being repaired. And the repairs that needed to take place on this truck, they've had it for close to a month now. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it because it looks like we're gonna get the truck back this week, which means we can go get the fifth wheel, bring it over to our house and start playing with it. You love the layers on the inside. Yes, it's fun. I was trying to figure out how to make it pop, and I realized just by using a little basic gray and lining it and giving it a layered look would work perfect. All right, now we're gonna use our Versamark. I like the tone-on-tone look that Versamark gives. You can use the same ink color if you want, but if you want a real subtle tone-on-tone, Versamark is perfect. So I'm going to ink up our circle text, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp right here, and we're going to sort of rub it, but don't move the stamp pad around a little bit because then you might smear the image. All right, you can't see it very well, but eventually it will get a little bit dark, but you can sort of see it now. I think. Let me look. I know there's a delay, so I'm going to wait to see if you guys can see it. But there's the circle is here, and we're going to put our 2.5-inch circle right in the center, and we're going to die cut this one. So let's go ahead and get that. And right now, both of these, if you don't, well, right now I'm able to use, because of the size of paper I'm cutting, I'm able to use my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine right next to me, but I also used, and you guys will see, for the banner on this card, I actually had to use my large Stampin' Cut and Emboss because I needed to use the, what is it, plaid? I can't remember the name of it. It is the Forever Plaid embossing folder because I wanted to tie in. So it looks great. Wonderful settle background. Thank you. I know I think that's one of my new favorite tips and tricks for creating texture and creating some subtle looks to the cards without going overboard, is using Versamark ink. So here's our circle. Here's our rectangle. And remember, we're going to go, we have our plaid, our banner here, which I have right here, and we're going to, well, let's, you know what, let me finish with this. What I did is, since I have it plaid, or I have it beige on beige, what I did do is I took a sponge dauber, and I'm going to just sort of edge the die cut circle. I know I'm switching back and forth. Hopefully I don't make you guys motion sick. So I'm gonna use a little sponge dauber, and I'm just gonna dab lightly all around the edge because it gives it a real subtle look. Some areas might be a little bit darker than others, but that's fine. But you don't want to push too hard because then you see the edge like that. You can see I'm going to sort of circle, like you would a blending brush right around the edge. So, but I love the contrast it gives. So we've got that. And now we have our banner, and this is that's the inside. This is 5/8 of an inch wide. I made it just slightly larger than a 1/2 inch, which is what the sketch has on it, because I enlarged everything else. So I want to sort of enlarge it so it's a little bit in scale. And then I made it a little bit longer, and now I'm going to cut my paper. If I can find, there's my snips. I tell you, my desk looks like, oh, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna go, and if you can tell, I used the Forever Plaid on here, so it has a little bit of textures too. When I first started making cards, I didn't use a lot of these things, like embossing folders or dies and things like that, and I didn't use sponge daubers. And looking back, my cards were very flat, and I love the dimension that just adding a little bit of stamping or a little bit of embossing, things like that. Now, we're also going to do now, what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to take this same stamp with the splotches in there. I need to clean it off a little bit because we're going to use Versamark, and it's clean, it's dirty from the basic gray that I had earlier. But we're going to clean it off, and we're going to use this to create, let me show you, the subtle, in the sketch, you can see these leaves here, and it's a subtle inking on the card front. So we're going to use Versamark, and then we're going to go back and we're going to use some basic gray and Stamped Off again. So we're going to do this all in the lower left side of the corner of the card. So we're going to do, and you can't see it much, but I'm going to just sort of turn it. I'm going to do it a couple of different times, different ways. And we'll do a couple more. Yeah, I'm going to do that there. And then we're going to add one more. There we go. And then we're going to add some basic gray Stamped Off so that we can add a little bit more pop on the front. But we're going to go ahead and stamp it off again. So we put our gray on there so it's not too dark. We're just going to put a very light stamp of the ink. All right, let's turn this around this way. Do another one. And I think I'm going to do one more going out this way. There we go. So I like that. It gives it sort of an L shape in the corner. We'll put our ink away. We're not done with that yet though, so I need to keep it close by. I need it for my sentiment on the outside. And now we're going to go ahead and attach our banner first. And the banner goes right about there. Make sure I have my card. All right, let's go ahead and put our card here. Some ink there. All right, put it probably about an inch or so up from the bottom. We line it up, the flat side up with the fold. And then we're going to go ahead and take our plaid rectangle and there we go. Sometimes they like to be stubborn. There we go. And we're going to lay him right up about, right about there. And then we're going to go ahead and put this here. Now, I was told, and the idea was given to me, but unfortunately I don't have it. Apparently, our sailboat set. Hi, Patty, welcome. No worries. Apparently, according to Patty was the one that gave me the idea when I was showing her my card the other day just to get some feedback. She said, "Do you have the sailboat card set?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." Because apparently the sailboat, I want to put that down a little bit. That's a little too high. I'm going to go down a little bit. There we go. The sailboat would look really cool right there in the middle of that circle too. But there's that. So let's go ahead. What else do we have? Nothing else to attach. Well, we have a couple things to attach, but first we're going to do our sentiment, our happy birthday. Let's see. And it's our basic gray again. And I'm going to put it right up here in the corner. That would look good, or it would look good down here, but I like how it balances out because we've got ink down here. So it sort of balances out at an angle. It's just how my aesthetic, my mind works, is looks for some balance. So we've got balance there. Now we're gonna finalize all of this with some of our basic gray and smoky slate pearls. I'm gonna use the basic gray, and I'm gonna use the smaller ones, although maybe I'll use one of the bigger ones. Let's check out one of the bigger ones, and we'll do one big and two small. So I'm gonna do the bigger one. Let's see. I like it right about there. And then we're gonna do a smaller one up here near the birthday. And then we wanna go in more of a triangle, but it doesn't have to be a perfect triangle. It could be more like a, what do they call them? An obtuse triangle. But I think I'm gonna put one right, let's see. On one card, I have it down here in the corner. On the other card, I have it way down here. You know what? I think I'm gonna go way down. I'm gonna go right about there. There we go. So there is, you know, you could even throw one up here if you wanted to. Should we? Should we try it? Should we try another? I don't know. That might throw it off. I think we're going to just go with the 3. I like the idea of odd numbers. So there is our masculine card using the Mojo Sketch 521. Let me move this out now. So here's our sketch, and here's our card that we did. And we've got our rectangle. Again, mine is a little bit larger. And we've got our banner, again, a little bit larger. And the circle, which is a little bit larger. And then I used the stamp splotches to give this stamped look here in the corner. And I could have even gone up a little bit more here if I wanted to. Next time, what I would probably do is lay this and this down, the rectangle and the banner down, and set this over it, but not adhere it yet, and see if anything sticks out so that I could use it. Oh, I'm glad you think it's fabulous, Patty. Thank you. So I want to say thank you for joining me today for my stepping out of my comfort zone and doing a masculine card using something that's not flowers and not blue, because we know my favorite color is blue, and I love all of the blues that Stampin' Up has. But this was my masculine card, and I decided to step outside the box. So anyway, if you would like, you can find all the information, including dimensions and supplies that I used. Oh, thank you, Anne. Yeah, it seemed so small to me. The idea of keeping it where it was at, it just seemed too small for the card. That's why I need to scale it up a little bit. And you know what? That's what these sketches, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to come back to this. That's what these sketches are great, because basically you can look at it and say, I like this layout, but I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. Or it could be a type of layout where you might look at it and go, oh, you know what? I think I need to make it a little bit smaller. But it gives you an idea of placement. I mean, I didn't have to use a circle here. Actually, at one point, I was playing with the idea of using the modern oval punch. And I had that scrap laying around here somewhere, but I don't see it. And so you can play with different shapes. It doesn't have to be the circle. It's just the layout, which is so great. That's what I love these sketches for, is using them as a springboard for ideas. So anyway, go ahead, and if you want all the details and all of supplies and everything for this card, I'm at www.stampinwithjenn.com. Stampin's with 2 N's and Jenn's with 2 N's. And I will have everything there ready for you guys tomorrow morning. And there will also be a link to Tammy's great card that she did today. And so you can see how much fun she had with the new online exclusive Halloween suite that we've got. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is a fun fold, I believe. So next Tuesday, Tammy and I will have fun folds for you guys, and I can't wait to search on Pinterest for some fun folds. I've seen a couple of fun folds, and I think I'm going to play a little bit more this week and see which one I want to do. So anyway, thank you for joining us. Have a good week. Thanks. Bye-bye.